For Italy, a nation that holds its Catholic heritage at the core of its identity, such findings are deeply disconcerting. The Vatican, situated in the heart of Rome, stands as both a spiritual and cultural symbol of Catholicism, exerting profound influence over the global Christian narrative for centuries. The suggestion that biblical figures like Moses, David, and Jesus might have had African features questions not only the art and iconography that fill Italy's historic churches and cathedrals, but also the theological assumptions underpinning Italian religious identity. These revelations are not merely an academic curiosity. They strike at the heart of Italy's understanding of its place within the broader Christian tradition. Within academic circles, the response has been one of intense scrutiny and burgeoning debate. Historians, theologians, and archaeologists are organizing conferences and publishing papers that reevaluate the historical context of biblical narratives. Universities across Italy, particularly those with theological faculties, are hosting symposia on the implications of these discoveries. Some scholars advocate for a complete overhaul of biblical education, urging that historical and cultural context be emphasized in curricula to provide a more accurate representation of ancient figures. This academic reckoning is fueled by the growing availability of previously hidden documents from the Vatican archives, which offer new insights into the historical relationship between Christianity and African civilizations. Yet not everyone in Italy is ready to embrace these revelations. Among religious leaders, reactions range from cautious optimism to outright resistance. Father Alessandro Giusti, a progressive priest based in Milan, has publicly welcomed these findings as an opportunity to deepen Christianity's inclusivity and celebrate its diverse roots. In his sermons, Father Giusti emphasizes the universality of Christian teachings and argues that recognizing the African heritage of biblical figures could strengthen the global appeal of the faith. Cardinal Vittorio Romano, a senior and highly influential figure in the Vatican, has expressed concern over what he describes as historical revisionism, as Italians grapple with the implications of a black-centric biblical narrative.
And the reads, text also involve error that the Jews are all black, for this is only true of the Portuguese Jews, who marrying always amongst one another, beget children like themselves, and consequently the swarthiness of their complexion is entailed upon the whole race, even in the northern regions. So, according to this source, it is just verifying the fact that the Portuguese Jews are black. Also, they marry amongst one another, therefore their children are swarthy. If you didn't know, swarthy is just a complexion of dark, by Hannah Adams. And we're going to start on page 180. We're going to start right here where it says the Spanish and Portuguese Jews claim their descent from the tribe of Judah. In consequence of this supposed superiority, they have not till lately married or in any way incorporated with their brethren of other nations. They had separate synagogues, and if a Portuguese Jew, even in England or Holland, married a German Jew, she was immediately expelled from the synagogue. In this magazine and History Chronicle, we're going to start on page 12. I'm going to read right here. And it says the Spanish Jews are the true descendants from the tribe of Judah and the royal house of David, and were settled in Spain from the time of the captivity of the first temple by Nebuchadnezzar. So, here we go with our second source letting us know that the Spanish and Portuguese Jews are the true descendants. But another key thing to take away from this source is that it let us know that they were settled in Spain from the time of the captivity of the first temple by Nebuchadnezzar. Now, if you know, that's biblical. So they've been settled in Spain, or at least some of the tribe of Judah has been settled in Spain for a pretty long time. All you can do, you can do a simple Wikipedia search or Google search, and you'll find out this information. Yahya ben Rabah, also known as Yahya the Negro, was a Portuguese nobleman, Jews with the last name Negro. So again, I ask, why would Jews have the last name Negro? I know y'all been seeing all the stuff that's going around in the media, or Nick Cannon, Deshaun Jackson, all these people being labeled anti-Semitic for saying that we are the Semitic peoples. If you do your research, you'll find out that we are, and that we really are the true Jews.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Recha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, honors as well to the other elders and brethren and fellow believers of this truth, and shalom to the elect. So, real quick, I want to just touch on this. I don't think it's going to be a long video. I try to put it all in the intro as it is, and then we'll edify it with some Bible scriptures. But I remember the last video I did with the Elon Musk, I think maybe a couple of weeks back, and there was a couple of people asking where the source is, because I can't find it anywhere. I think one of the sisters asked that, and I believe someone else asked it. And the problem with sources is a lot of it's hidden, and this is why you have to find the books, right? You have to find other literature that may be hidden from Google. This is their platform. They don't want you to know a lot of things. They understand what we know, but they don't want other people to stumble upon that, and then they'll give them an awakening, so to speak, and say the Hebrews were correct. So that's another issue. You just got to find the books. Like, I got a book called The Black Kings of Europe, and I can't remember the main character in there, but he was a black king of Europe, and it was a lot of history and information on him. It was a small book, but it had a lot of information on it. So anyway, going on to the lesson, this information has come out. It's things we've been saying. The Israelites fled Jerusalem, and you have a lot of Christians say they fled into Europe and various other places, which is true. But what they're not telling you is they were so-called black men, women, and children that fled into those areas, and they have different shades and complexions, right? That's why today we look at Europe and we understand that was never his land. He conquered that land as well. But some of them people over there that look white, that you might think are actually white men and women, they're not. They're actually Israelites. Even when you go to some of the Sicilians, Israelites, right? This proves it, because the Moors, the other Israelites. So anyway, let me get some scriptures. I'm going to try to make this quick. John 8:32. A lot of you know this. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Right? And we know this is not white Christianity that made us free. In fact, white Christianity has enslaved us, because the root core of white Christianity, right? One of the root core causes of this sick religion is the iconoclasm, in the 1400s, of repainting not only Jesus, the one you call Jesus, true name Yahushua, but apostles and Peter and John, Bartholomew. They painted all the apostles and disciples white. And as I believe when you go to Wikipedia, they'll have the white images up, but if you scroll all the way down, then they'll show you the actual correct images, right, out of the Russian icons. So it's very well known. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28:64, and then we're going to get some more context on how do we know a proof according to the Bible and according to scholars, right? And the Lord shall scatter you among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So the first slave ships technically came out of Spain, right? And then they took some back to Africa and back to Spain, and then across to the Americas and various in the islands, right? So basically the Lord gave us up. This is how we know. And the Christians will say in Deuteronomy 28:68, let me get that real quick. They'll say that this says this has nothing to do with the transatlantic slave trade. Now, anything of that magnitude, of that kind of behavior, that sick behavior from one nation of people doing this to another, and you're going to tell me that's not biblical? They're going to say Deuteronomy 28:68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, right? Which we know the word Egypt goes back to bondage, right? Exodus 20:3, where it says Egypt is bondage, right? Well, let me get that real quick. Let me go back to Exodus Let's go back to Exodus 20 and verse 3. It's 20 or 2 or 20 or 3, one of the two, I'm not sure. 23, no, 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, right? Which technically goes back biblically to Mizraim. So let's go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, which we know you didn't need ships. And as I always say, when you're dealing with some type of torture or some type of slavery, there was oftentimes we were carried into situations as Israelites and other nations. It never mentions how they get there. The reason why it doesn't mention, because it doesn't have that kind of trouble. The reason why the ships are mentioned, because of the hell we caught on those ships. Right? There shall see it no more again, and there thou shalt be sold unto your enemies. Now they'll say, in the other translations, you should offer yourselves up for slaves, right? For bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now when you go into the older Bible, it'll say, and no man shall redeem you. In fact, when you go into the translation of this, it'll tell you redemption, that no man is going to redeem you. You're going to be sold, and no man is going to redeem you. Now, in the technical sense, when they sold us, other people came and bought us, but redeem us what? Out of the bondage, and we're still in the bondage. The biggest lie is to tell you you're free, right? But you're still following false Christianity, false philosophies. Look at our women, right? Look at the state of these young men. We're still in bondage, and none is going to deliver us until the Lord comes back and delivers us out of this bondage, right? I don't want to make this video about that, but I just want to cover a couple things. Let's go to Numbers 25 and 11. It says, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel my jealousy, which goes to zealous when you look up this word Phinehas. But when you go further into the word Phinehas, this is what it says. Proper name, the Nubian, dark skinned, right? Which goes to the mouth of brass when you look it up in the blue letter. All right, it says dark skinned. Now wait a minute, this man's lineage is of, let's go back, right? Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, right? The priest. So wait a minute, where the hell did you get the white Israelites from? Somebody got to explain that, like any of you Christians to explain that as well, because I know you come on here and watch. Let's get further context on that. Phinehas lived during the time of the Israelites wilderness wandering after the exodus from Egypt, like when he put the javelin through the man and the woman for worshiping. It was the worship of the other god. It had nothing to do because he laid with a heathen woman. It's because they was in practice, in ceremonial practice of the other god. And that's a plague on Israel. It's almost like if you believe in the truth and you got a woman, right, and she got a pentagram with the candles all around it, you know what I'm saying, and they playing like satanic music. You as a man of the Lord, you gonna have no business up in there laying with that woman. But you know, the woman had to look real good, and he couldn't contain himself, so he didn't care. And when you get in that state of that mindset of laying with a woman in pleasure, then your mind is opened up, and that's how you catch all those damn demons. You know, it wasn't supposed to be that way. But it goes on down to say Egyptian Phinehas says the Negro. It says the Negro. That's what Phinehas means. So that tells you right there, man. That's why I read the scripture. You should know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Right? Anyway, that's pretty much all I have on that. But I just thought of something. One more. Luke 8:17, right? For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. So I'm not going to do a whole lesson with the maps and show you where we dwelt and so forth and so on. There's plenty of literature on that. But what I am showing you, according to the Bible, Phinehas, he was a Negro, right? So if he was a Negro, which means black, and they say he's dark-skinned, where do we get the white people from? They say that they're Israelites. And according to the land that they were in, which it wasn't called Africa, the continent, it wasn't called Africa or so forth. So that whole region was Jake, even dealing with Decapolis, where the Israelites were going. In fact, the Romans had Judea, right? So proving we was there, Samaria and various other places. And as time went on and the besiege, we fled and escaped other places. And some of us was in other places, right? So at the end of the day, we're all over the place. The children of Israel can't be measured or numbered, as Hosea 1:10 says. And if that's the case, you can number a black person. Everybody, they claim it's not about race, but every time you fill out applications, they want to know if you black or white. This whole society is so-called against racism, but they do nothing but bring up racism when it comes to music and sports and everything else. It's always brought about racism. And our own people do that. The black woman always talking about her blackness, but then with a white man, and then say, it's not about race. So why do we need to know that you're with a white man? Who the hell cares? That's the mindset and the sickness that shows you that we're destroyed as a people. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.